So it'll supported fish pose.
Yay.
Yay.
We end with that. I don't remember things to begin with.
Oh, yeah. So there's a couple different setup possibilities. If you have your favorite, do it the way you like. We are going to be moving the arms around. So for me, I usually like horizontal, but vertical is fine too. I'm just going to show low and medium. If you wanted to go higher than that, you could. Yeah. So we'll come lay down, and for those of you who have the horizontal block, you want the shoulder blades to go right upon it. If you have the vertical block, if it's the narrow setting, the shoulder blades hang off the sides. Yeah. And it's meant to feel good. If it doesn't, yeah, some people maybe need to elevate the pelvis. If you need to put a pillow or something under there, you can. Legs can be bent or straight. Yeah, and then you guys in the room with me, if you want me to turn the fans off, just tell me. I'm good. Okay. Later on, when we do harder things, you'll enjoy the fans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as you settle into this position, think about relaxing through the front of the chest, right around the collarbones, relaxing all sides of the neck, including your throat in the front. And because this position just changes the natural orientation of the rib cage, the diaphragm will also be shifted a little bit. You might notice a change in your breath. Anybody? Just being completely still, that might be a nice option. And if you'd like to add in some movement, just start to let the arms move around any way they want to go. I call this the sea monster asana. Letting the arms move any which way. And if you are moving the arms, I'll recommend more of a slower movement and see if you can feel the shoulder blades moving as the arms move. Yes. And then let's pause here with the arms just straight out in front of the chest, fingers up towards the ceiling. And can you give a little extra reach up towards the ceiling so the shoulder blades separate? And then don't be aggressive about it, but let the arm bones kind of drop down. Now, those of you who have the vertical block, the shoulder blades can kind of squeeze the sides of the block. If you have the horizontal block like I do, they'll just kind of fit down on the block. Let's do that a few times. So reach them up, the shoulder blades go a little apart, and then drop them back down. Great. And then maybe one more, maybe you're done with that. And then from here, friends, let's go ahead and relax the arms down. We will come off of your block and just come to lay down. And here's where you might need to have a blanket under the head. Go ahead and have it if you need it. And just take a second here to land. Notice how it feels to come off of the blocks, how your body meets the floor, how your shoulder blades fit into the back, and how you breathe. If you have the legs long on the floor, go ahead and bend at the knees so the feet plant on the floor, the knees point up towards the ceiling. Now, as the inhale happens, let the pelvis rock a little forward, more towards the tailbone. Don't overdo it, but you'll get a little gap between your low back and the floor. And then on the exhale, you go the other direction. The low back presses towards the floor. The tailbone will tilt up a little, but the pelvis stays on the ground. Just do this a few times. Inhale, a little arch in the back. And the exhale, the belly hollows down and the back presses towards the floor. Take that a few more times. Now, some of you will stick with this, keeping the pelvis on the floor the whole time. And some of you will want to add on, and I'll talk you through the add on. So as the exhale happens, let the belly hollow down. Wait for that. And then on empty breath, you let the hips lift up for a bridge. Inhale at the top once you get there. And then use the exhale to lower yourself back down, hips to the floor. On the inhale, little arch in the back, the belly relaxes. Exhale, the belly hollows down. Wait for that, wait for empty breath, and then lift the hips. Inhale at the top. Use the whole exhale to lower down. Inhale at the bottom, little arch in the back. Exhale, the belly hollows down, and then an empty, we lift. And just continue this maybe 1 or 2 more cycles. Though I know sometimes the breath that I cue with this doesn't always mesh with your breathing and with your brain. If it's messing you up, just breathe in a way that makes sense to you. We're going to change our pattern a little bit. Let's meet the next time you're in the up position, hips up, and it doesn't have to be high. Just breathe normally once you get there. If anybody is able to take the arms up by your head, go ahead and add that in. And if it feels all right to lift the heels going under the balls of the feet, do that. Now from here, try to reach the arms back towards the wall behind you as you slowly lower the spine down 1 little piece at a time. And try to move the pelvis away from your hands as you're coming down, almost creating a little bit of traction. Yes, and then eventually the pelvis comes down, let the heels release, let the arms release. And we'll do that a couple more times. So just breathe any way that makes sense. Up we come, lifting the arms, lifting the heels if that feels okay. And then nice and slowly down we come, 1 little piece at a time. Try to lay the back ribs down, the back of the waist, and the top of the pelvis and the back. Yes. And then last one here, and a possible little add-on on the way down. So you just get up there. And then on the way down, it's very teeny tiny. If you'd like to do it, just take a tiny little side to side, little swish of the hips. It's very, very small. For me, it feels good. For some people, it might not feel good. So take it or leave it. Yes. And then once we're back down on the floor, let's pause, release the arms, release the heels. Take your feet a little further apart than they are. Separate the arms and just let the knees go from side to side here. Little windshield wiper. Good, good. Okay. And then let's pause, bring the legs back to center and step the feet in a bit so they're not quite as wide. And now let's do that movement in the pelvis again. Go one direction and the other. And now see if you can land somewhere in the middle. So it's neutral pelvis. There's just normal lumbar curve, but not excessive. Can you keep that? Can you tone the belly? Lift the right leg up, bent knee, and then set it down. And lift the left leg up, same thing. So it's just a slow little march in place. And what we don't want to do is let the pelvis rock back and forth. So we want to keep that still at this point. Yeah, and we're going to add on. Let's stay with the right leg and then lift the left leg up too. So up, up, and then right leg down, left leg down, down, down. So keep going with that, up, up, down, down. Now, if you'd like to challenge the core a little bit more, option, you can take the arms right in front of the chest. You could separate the arms wide, but not touching the floor. You could touch the floor if you wanted to. A little more challenging to keep them up. And then we're going to change the pattern once again. So the next time we're both legs up, stay there. And now the left leg stays up, just the right leg comes down and up. And then the left leg down and up. Keep doing that alternating. And if you still want a little more challenge, let the lowering leg go slightly further out, but still the knee stays bent. We want to keep the pelvis in the same position you initially set, so don't let it rock back and forth. And if you're finding that's not possible, then don't go quite as far with the legs. Maybe you just go a little bit without touching the floor. Yeah, should we do this the whole class?
No.
No. All right, let's finish it here. And then we'll pause and we'll change it again. So pause in the both legs up position. Let's release the arms. Take the right leg forward. You can point through the foot. Right hand to the inside of the left knee. And can you press arm and leg into each other going in towards the midline? Yeah. And that'll target a little more of the obliques. And then we'll swap other side. So the left leg goes out on the diagonal. Left hand to the inside of the right leg and just create a little pressure in towards the midline of the body. Yeah, aren't we glad the fans are on now? And then that's it. Just hug both knees in, create a little movement, little side to side. If you wanted to stir, make some circles with the legs, anything at all is fine here. All right, guys, so let's turn over. We'll meet in the all fours, the hands and knees position. So just take your time to get there. If you need any extra cushion under the knees, you can put a blanket down. Now, earlier, when we were laying on the back, we were doing flexion extension of the spine, so think cat-cow. We're going to do that, but with a little bit of add-on, some lateral movement. So just pause in the middle, and you'll inhale. As the exhale happens, round up into cat pose, and also press the rib cage a little to the right. The cat on the side. Inhale takes us through the middle, and then on the exhale, up and over to the left a little bit. Yeah, take that a couple more times. A little side stretch here in those cat poses. Now it's completely up to you if you want to stick with this back and forth, or if you want to make it into a full circle. From one side you go up, over to the other side, and then down. So up to you. If you are taking the full circle, it might feel interesting to kind of bend and straighten the elbows as you're going along. Yeah. Nice. And then if you're circling, let's take a couple rounds the other direction. And we'll give our hands a little break here. Let's pause in the middle. You can separate the knees if you need to. Head back into child's pose, but keep the arms forward. And go onto the tips of the fingers. Spider fingers, excellent. Yeah, so you remember those. And then we squeeze the mat with our fingers, trying to lift the wrists a little bit more to create some engagement through the forearms. Right, and then we'll set the hands down. Slide the hands a little further forward. The hips will lift. Press into the floor. First round the back, so we're in our cat pose again. And if the knees went wide, reset. Continue forward until the spine unravels. The elbows will bend, and we'll land here on the belly. Let's take a little break for the hands here. Just fold the hands and rest your forehead down on the hands. One leg at a time, lengthen back and down just to give you a little extra space in the front of the hips. And we'll start this next movement just with the abdomen. So breathe in, relax. And then on the exhale, lift up through the low belly, and you might feel the tailbone move down a little, but try not to squeeze the tailbone. So the inhale, the belly relaxes. And then on the exhale, we lift up through the belly, a little tilt down through the tail just because it's attached. Yeah. And then keep going with that. If you'd like to add on, as the exhale happens and the belly lifts, you can also lift the legs, but they won't go too high. Think about lifting the legs from the inner line of the legs. So the inner thigh, inner knee, which means you'll go even less high than you would if you're lifting from the outer. Then we're going to pause the next time we're in the lifted position. Stay there. You'll lose the lift in the belly when we add on. Let's slide the hands a little forward and the elbows a little in. And the elbows are still on the floor, but they're ahead of the shoulders here. Don't go anywhere, but try to pull the arms towards your chest, pull the chest towards your hands. Lengthen the rib cage forward. Yeah. All right, you guys look great. Think of length and space over height for these. And then down we come, rest the forehead, bend your knees, give the legs just a little swish, little side to side movement. Good, good. Let's go back. We'll take a quickie child's pose just for a second. And then we'll reset in the all fours position, and we'll be here for a little bit. So from your position, let's take the right leg back, toes tucked under, and just give yourself a little back and forth, a little calf stretch, ankle stretch. Yep, we're still here. All right, and then pause. Can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift the belly, and without the belly drooping, lift the right leg. Let it just float up off the floor. Now you can do just the leg by itself, or if you want to add in the left arm. The left arm forward, thumb faces up. Let's inhale. As you exhale, pull it in, arm and leg, or just the leg, if that's where you're working. And then inhale to re-lengthen. Take this a few more times. And now if you're doing both the arm and the leg, when you come in, press the hand and the leg into each other a little bit. Every time you come in, and take a little pause on the exhale. Good, we're gonna stay in the in position. And then if you're holding the leg, let it go. Take the knee to the right, the elbow to the left, and then come back into center. Do that a few more times, and if you're only doing the leg, that's fine. That's hard enough. One more time out, one more time in, and now press the hand to the inside of the knee, press in towards the midline here. Yes, good. Keep the leg up, put the hand down. Take the knee out to the side, kick the leg straight, and put the foot down on the floor straight. It'll come off the mat. And then from here, let's do cat-cow with the leg wide. And you might get a nice juicy stretch on the inner thigh. At least I do. Yeah, you too? I have the tightest right inner thigh. The left one's not too bad, but the right one is so tight. All right, guys, let's pause here. Slide the right leg back in. Let's go back to child's pose and have the toes tucked under if that's available for you. Scooch the knees back a little bit. And don't go anywhere, but try to push the mat a little forward with your hands. Now, this next part, totally optional. If you're up for it, you can walk back with the hands and sit on the heels. If that's a no-go, just skip it. We won't be for long. Yeah, I know.
Sit back, I can't sit up.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, I know you got that foot thing, so yeah, we won't stay. We won't stay. Let's come out, shake out the feet. Yeah, and then we'll do a little belly time before we do the second side. So let's come down again onto the belly. This time a different arm position. Take the arms forward off the mat, but not completely straight. So a little bend in the elbows. And the forearms are about shoulders width or mat's width, maybe about mat's width apart. Now pretend here that you're standing instead of laying on your belly, and you're trying to close a window that's kind of stuck. So let's close the window, and as you do, the heart will move forward, the spine will lengthen, and then give up, come back down. Let's give it another try. So you've all had a sticky window in your life, I'm sure. So try to close that window as the chest moves forward. Yeah, and then down. There's a muscle that you're here that we're working on called serratus anterior. Let's go one more time. We'll stay in the lifted position. If it feels all right, draw back through the legs. Let the legs hover just barely, barely off the floor. Oh, yeah. Okay, down and come rest. Rest the forehead. Bend the knees. Give the legs a little swish. All right, and then we'll take our last set here in all fours. If you want a quickie child's pose after that, you can. All right, and then we'll reset, all fours position. Left leg stretches back, toes tuck under, give yourself, oh, this feels so good, back and forth. And then we'll pause. Before we lift, can you broaden the collarbones? Can you lift a little through the low belly? And then the left leg lifts up. If you're adding on, right arm comes forward, thumb is up. If not, just do the leg. Let's inhale. And then on the exhale, pull it in. Just do a few of these without pressing quite yet. A little bit of balance. And then on the next few rounds, those of you who are including the arm can press arm and leg. Just for a little extra, you know? Yeah. Let's do last one and we'll stay in the in position. If the hand is connected to the leg, let it go. And now we'll take elbow to the side, knee to the side, yoga skydiver, and then back to center. That one doesn't have a real name, I don't think, so we could call it skydiver asana, more official. Let's do last one here, and this time when you come in, press the hand to the inside of the knee to the hand. Oh yeah. The leg stays lifted, hand comes down, knee goes wide, leg goes wide, step the foot down. Oh yeah. And then here we've got our cat-cow inner thigh stretch. It's not nearly as tight for me. Do you guys have a difference? You get a tighter left leg. They're both tight for Sally. Yeah. And then when you're done, let's go back to child's pose. Anything with the hands, anything with the feet. Just take a second here. Any little wobbles, wiggles, whatever feels good. Okay. And then let's set up, we'll get into down dog in a second. Take the arms forward and at least shoulders width apart. Lift the hips so you can tuck the toes under and then lift the knees up and keep them pretty bent. Try to press the mat forward with your hands as the hips move back first and then lengthen the legs maybe. Let's take just a good pedal here, bending and straightening one knee at a time. You can let the hips shift. You can let the spine take a little twist if that feels good. And then just very gradually, step by step, let the feet go a little wider and a little wider until you end up feet about as wide as the mat. Yeah. And then from here, we'll bend both knees, walk your hands back, heading to the back of the mat, and just prop up for a sec, forearms on the thighs. Yeah, this is nice, yeah. Move the wrist a little bit, the fingers a little bit. Yeah. All right. And then we'll stay here, but we'll add on a little bit. Can you move the pelvis back as you're moving the heart forward? Just think of creating some space and some length. And then at the very, very tops of the thighs, can you press wide? Notice if you do that quite a bit, the weight shifts to the pinkies. Can you hug it a little bit in the feet just so the weight's more even on the feet? Yeah, and you might feel a nice like spreading sensation in the lower back when you do that. Yeah, cool. So let's stay. Put more weight in the heels, so root down, and on the inhale, we come all the way up, lengthening the whole body. And then the arms come down. Let's stand as you're standing with the wide feet. Bend the knees a little bit, and then just start to move the spine around. Yeah, anything at all is fine. And now here we are in December, so we'll do a little holiday move here. You can pretend you're inside a snow globe, a giant snow globe, and somehow the glass is a little dirty, so we've got to clean the glass. Yeah, and we've got to get the whole thing. We've got the top and the front and the back. You don't have to keep the feet glued. You can move the feet a little bit, but we want to get down towards the bottom and the back. Yeah. Window washers here. I gotta say though, every time I use glass cleaner, I make it worse than when I started, so I never clean the glass. All right, guys, it looks pretty clean. Let's let it go. Come back to center, reset your feet, let the arms go. You can shake out the arms a little bit. Yeah, and then we'll do something with the shoulders here in standing, and then we'll do it in a second weight bearing. So let's take the arms forward, and we kind of did this actually on the blocks. Move the arms forward so the shoulder blades widen, but don't do it like that. So it's just the arms and the shoulder blades, yeah. And then draw back so the shoulder blades narrow, the collarbones widen. Go one more time forward. One more time back. And then stay right in the middle and don't go too far. Let everything go a little bit up and then everything go a little bit down. Yeah. And then go up, pull back, go down. And when you pull forward, just a little bit, not all the way. Nice. Keep that. Create a little tone through the belly, through the lower ribs. And here we are in plank pose, standing. Yeah, you look great. Let's release the arms.
Right, you said that right.
It's so much easier, isn't it? Yeah. But I find that because it's easier, then when we do get there, it's a little easier to move the shoulders. So let's try it. Root down through the legs. Inhale, we're up. Exhale, we're down. Inhale, it's a halfway up. And then let's come down, walk the hands forward until you get into plank pose. Totally fine if you want to put the knees down or even just do all fours. It's fine. Yeah, nice job. Just a tiny bit. Sink the chest towards the floor. Pull the chest forward, move the shoulder blades down the back. And now press into the floor. Let the shoulder blades widen as you lift. Gorgeous. Nice job. Why not make it a little more exciting? Let's bend the knees a little bit. Pull the knees slightly forward. Oh, no. No, it gets better. Don't change the position of your pelvis or your belly. Re-lengthen the legs. Oh, yeah. Do it again. Bend the knees, pull them forward. Yeah. And then straighten. This will be your last time. Third time's a charm. Bend and pull forward, stay. And then go a little lower, a little closer to the floor. Go a little more forward if you can. And then a little lower, a little more forward. And then eventually they'll tap slowly down. We bend the elbows, come down and rest.
Oh my.
Oh, yeah, make a little pillow, just like really rest. That was tough. Yeah, you can wiggle if you like. I always like to wiggle. Before I came here this morning, I was watching, I think it was Amsterdam, their symphony. They were doing Beethoven's Seventh.
Oh, no.
And yeah, it's a wonderful piece, but the musicians were very wiggly. Very like more than normal. But I loved it because I'm a wiggler myself. Yeah. All right, are we ready to do something here? Let's close the window again. So assume that same position here. And let yourself just slump down for a second. And then we're going to close the window, pull the arms back, pull the chest forward. The window's kind of stuck. You want to lift the legs, you can. And then relax. Let's do 2 more of those. So close the window with or without the legs. Up to you. And then last one. Yes. Down we come, rest. Let's bend the knees, switch the legs because we can. All right, guys. And then we'll put the legs back down. Let's head into downward facing dog. Go ahead and just get there. From your down dog, your choice if you want to move the hands to the feet or the feet to the hands. We'll meet in a forward fold position. Go ahead and bend the knees a little once you get there. Press down through the feet, especially the heels, and come up on an inhale all the way we stand. And release the arms. All right, yogis. So far, so good. Let's go get your blocks and set them up at the front of the mat. We'll be doing some lunges and some other stuff. So, sorry, my wardrobe management here. Story of my life. All right, so let's stand at the front of the mat, but I'll face you. And keep the feet this time just about hips width distance apart. On the inhale, lift the arms. And then on the exhale, bend the knees and close the sticky window. Oh, yeah. A little resistance. Do that a few times. So the inhale, just come up. Let that be easy. Exhale, make it a little hard. Good job. Let's do one more time. And then we're going to stay in the down position. Reset. Hands come to the shins. Lengthen the legs. Move the chest forward. And then bring yourself down. Let's step right leg back to lunge. I'll suggest using blocks here if you have them. Yeah. Now stay in position. Can you move back through the pelvis forward through the chest? And just like we did a second ago, can you close the window here, but now the window is your blocks. Try to pull the blocks back. Gorgeous. And then let that relax. Do it again. Try to close the window, pull the chest forward. and relax. Notice how when you do that action of pulling the arms back, it makes the spine grow longer. We want to keep the length. Don't push so hard with the hands. Go under the fingertips. And then from here, friends, let's stretch the arms back. And you lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. Pull the fingertips back as the heart moves forward. Yeah, and if that's too much, maybe just keep the hands down or do one arm at a time. Yeah. All right. And then that's that. Let's release the arms. Take a few times if you need to bend and straighten the front knee just to relax the leg a little bit. And that's it. And then we'll pause with the knee bent. I usually like to lower the right block for this. You can do what you like. And then we turn open to the left for a twist. Yeah. We'll just be here for a little bit. There's a couple different versions. Any kind is fine. All right, and then down comes the arm. Let's step the back foot forward and the front foot back, just changing sides. Take a second to get there. Make sure the front shin is straight up and down. The hands are approximately right under the shoulders. And then from here, the pelvis moves back, the chest moves forward. Try to close your window, pulling the blocks back. Yeah. And then relax. And go again. Nice. And relax. Go one more time, and can you keep the length in the spine as you first just go lighter in the hands, lighter in the fingers. If you're able to take the arms back, do. If not, don't worry about it. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. Pull the fingertips towards the back wall. And here we are in this pose. Down come the arms. Take a few rounds just to stretch out the front leg. Anything is fine. Yeah, you guys. And then we'll pause with the front knee bent. If you need to lower the left block, great. Turn open to the right side. We find our twist. Yeah. Now in a second when we come out, we will go right into plank pose. So, you're so excited about that. Let's move the blocks. Set it up. If you need to put knees down, absolutely fine. Just like we did last time. Sink the chest teensy bit, and then pull it forward, and then press into the floor and lift. Yeah, we'll stay here. We're not going to do the fancy little knee bends or anything. But let's put the knees down to the floor. Come all the way down to the belly. Yeah. And then let's keep the hands in this position, the cobra position. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. And now we're closing the window again. It's just a little different here. Pull the hands back, pull the chest forward. Maybe lift the legs, maybe don't. And then lower down. Yeah, you guys look so good. Do that a few times. So the front of the chest lifts, and then we close the window. Then we want space. We don't want pinching or compression, like ever. We don't want pinching, at least. Yeah. Okay, down we come. Take a brief child's pose here, just for a second. All right. And then let's head into down dog, and we'll add in a calf stretch in the position. So take your time to get there. And once you are in down dog, bring your feet a teensy bit forward, just like an inch or two, and then bring the feet a little closer to each other. Can you bend the left knee and sink the right heel towards the floor? It may or may not actually get there. Stay there in very small amounts. Shift the pelvis right and left. Oh, back and forth. Yes. That's pretty intense, isn't it? Now, if it's so intense you think it's going to snap, you back out a little bit. Let's change other side. So bend the left knee. I meant the right knee. Sink the left heel downward. And then back and forth we go. All right, and then we'll reset. Let's step the feet wide, about as wide as the mat. We'll do this one again. Bend the knees, walk the arms back, and prop up the arms on the legs. Yeah. Move the hands if you need to. And then to get out, you'll press through the feet, tone the belly. Inhale, we come up. And exhale, the arms come down. If you need to take a little wiggle time, go ahead and do. Yeah. All right, so for the next this little thing. I'll suggest something to elevate the heel. This is just a folded blanket. That'll work fine. If you don't have that, you might just roll up the back of the mat a little bit. Let's set this towards the back of the mat. And then we'll put the right heel just a little bit up on the ledge and angle the right leg slightly out, just a couple degrees to the right. And hands to the hips, left leg will step forward, just a couple of steps, a little awkward. Yeah. Now once you're in position, we'll start with both legs straight. And on the back leg, press down and try to push the heel back. Yeah. And you might, when in doing that, you might start to feel a little stretch in the front of the right leg. We're going to make that a little bit more. So keep the heel pushing down and back, lift up through the low belly, and then bend the front knee. We might need to adjust. Sometimes you have to scooch a little bit. Yeah, good. So keep the back heel pressing down and back. Keep the belly lifting. Now, if you are feeling any kind of pinch in the low back, just hinge forward a touch. If you don't need to do that, you stay. Take the right arm at first just straight forward as the heel pushes down and back. And then the same arm will reach up towards the ceiling. Oh, yeah. Let's take the other arm to join. And here we are. It's kind of Warrior One-like. Warrior One has the back heel down, but when the heel is all the way on the floor, you don't get as nice of a stretch in here. So, yeah. All right, to get out, let's take hands to the hips, just hinge forward a little bit and step forward to get out. Yeah, same thing side two. So back we go, left heel is up, and the leg is angled a little bit out to the left. Right leg steps forward, a little bit awkward. That's it. And then once you're there, lengthen the right leg, lengthen the left leg, and really press the heel down and back. At the same time, lift up through the front of the belly, and then slowly start to bend the right knee. Of course, if you need to adjust your position, go ahead and do that. Back heel continues to press down and back. Let's take the left arm straight ahead. Keep the heel pushing down and back as the arm comes up. All right, and then the other arm comes up to join. Here we are, Virabhadrasana 1 with a variation. All right, let's hinge forward, take the arms back, and just step forward to get out. Nice job. Okay, so we'll do it again with a couple other poses. If you want to keep the blanket, you can. If you want to go without, you can. It's up to you. Let's have the blocks here in the front. And if you are stepping on the blanket, go there first and then step left leg forward. If you're doing without the blanket, start at the front and step back. It's a little easier. So for everybody, it's left leg forward, right leg back. Same position. Sally, separate your feet a little right to left with, yeah. So each leg in its own lane. And then just like before, let's press the back heel down and back. Lift up through the belly, lift up through both arms. Let's inhale. And then as the exhale happens, we'll close the window, bend the knee, bend the elbows, and hinge a little forward. Good, do that a few times. Inhale, it's up. Exhale, and make it like a hard, it's not easy to close. Are they ever easy to close? Yeah. And nice job. Now in this last one here, we'll stay. Good. And then come down and forward, landing your hands on the blocks. Any height is fine. Have them though in the same line as the front foot. Now from here, can you move the chest forward and close the window, which is your blocks at this point, as the front leg goes straighter. Oh. And then just bend and kind of relax a little bit. And then you'll pull the blocks back, push the front heel forward, move the chest forward. Oh, hamstring, yeah. And then relax. Let's go one more time. Pull the blocks back, push the heel forward. That's it. And then to get out of this one, let's bend the front knee, spin the back heel up, move the blocks, and just go to down dog. If you have the blanket there, you could actually, if you want to have both heels on the blanket, you could. All right, and then let's come forward here, feet to the top of the mat. Root down to rise up, inhale. And exhale, release the arms. Great. Same thing side two, so if you're on the blanket, start back and step forward. If you're not, you can start at the front and step back. So that'll be right leg forward, left leg back. Got it. I know it's awkward to step forward, isn't it? And then everybody will press the back heel down and back. Let's lift the arms. This will be inhale. Exhale, bend the front knee. Close the window as we hinge forward. Yeah, so Sally, bend the elbows for this one when you close. Yeah. And what I'm hoping is you feel some engagement through the upper back and kind of on the side, right, under the armpits. Yeah. Good. Let's have this be the last one. We'll stay. And then bring the arms down onto something. Before we straighten the front leg, let's pull the blocks back, pull the chest forward, and then push the right heel forward to lengthen. Oh, yeah. And then you'll back off a little bit, just kind of relax. And then the arms pull back, the heel pushes forward, the chest moves forward. Oh. Now, many of us, the leg won't completely straighten. That's fine. If you're really struggling here and you need higher blocks, you could make a block tower on the inside of the right foot. Yeah. Okay, friends, last one. And then to get out, let's go to down dog again. Just make that adjustment on your own. Feel free, any version here. You could go wide, you could go narrow. You could have heels on the roll, on the blanket. Okay, and then let's just come up to stand any way you want to get there. Okie dokie. Release. Give them a little shake if you need. Yeah, so our next pose, we'll start in Warrior One that we just did a couple of times, and then we'll take it into a balance in a variation of Warrior Three. So let me show you how it'll go, and it'll utilize some of the other things we've been working on. So let me show here. Let's say I'm in this position, Warrior One. I'm going to take my hands, it'll actually be kind of a short Warrior One. I'll take my hands to the top of the front leg thigh and press in order to lengthen. And then I'll hinge forward and lift the back leg. And I'm going to keep the front leg at least a little bit bent the whole time. So that's the position. You might be here. You might be more like here. Yeah? Wherever you are is fine. Let's see what you got. All right. So let's either step forward or back. Right leg is the back leg, left leg is the forward leg, but it's kind of a shorter stance than you just had. Bend the front knee a little bit. Hands press on the top of the left thigh, close to the hip crease, and start to hinge forward here. As you're ready, the back leg, you can go onto the tip of the toe. Maybe that's enough. Maybe you lift a little higher. Now the front leg, don't go completely straight, but you might go straighter. Can you keep the chest moving forward? Yeah. Can you continue to breathe?
Yes.
Oh, no. Yeah. And then to get out, we'll just go in reverse, step down, and that's that. Yeah.
Helps with the balance.
I think so too. It's nice to have something to press into.
Yes.
It also helps engage the core better than otherwise. So let's do the other leg. This will be the right one forward, the left one back, kind of a shorty position. Bend the front knee a little bit, hands to the top of the right thigh. Start to hinge forward, find the press. And then maybe you just play with this part. That's feeling all right. You can go a little higher with the leg, lower with the torso. But keep moving the torso forward. Try not to collapse. Yeah. Make sure you're breathing. Yes. Yes. And then we'll undo. Come back to center. Now, I think our large class days are over, at least for a while, but that one's fun if you have a really big class because it's high stakes.
Yes.
It could easily be yoga dominoes.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do one more and I won't talk so much. We'll just try it. Yeah, so right leg back, left leg forward. Away you go. And undo. Nice. Because it works better when I don't interfere so much. Good, good. Okay, friends, all done. Nice, Jill. Yeah. Yeah, that looks great. Yeah. You know, it's simple. I've been teaching yoga for years and I just learned this very recently, the hand thing. I'm like, oh, I love that. So yeah. Okay, cool. Let's take it down. Does that sound good? Yeah, so let me show you what we'll do. We started our class in a supported fish pose, little back bend. This will be a supported bridge pose, so the hips will be on the blocks. And you can go a couple different ways with it. Let me show. So mild version is here. If even that's too much, you can just do a blanket folded in half. A little higher would be here. This version can be a little unstable just because it's a smaller surface that you're on. If you wanted to go high, you could do the one, or I like to go two. Oh, fancy schmancy. You have to lift the heels a little to get in there for that one. So you choose. Yeah, if you, I should have said this before. Sally, you made it, but if you lay down first and then lift the hips, and then put the blocks in, that's a better way to go. Oh, but I'll get you next time. Oh, no problem. Yeah, you didn't fall. So no. Yeah, so for the moment, just relax. Yeah. Yeah. It's like everyone's doing the two. I'm going to do the two as well. Then we're going to keep the lower body kind of passive for now, just resting on the props. Let's set up your arms so the elbows are bent, like kind of robot arms. Elbows bent kind of in fairly close. And then you'll press the backs of the arms down into the floor and see if you can tuck the shoulder blades underneath you a little more. Yeah, good. Now you can stay right here, two legs on the floor, or you bend one knee, lift, and then the other one comes up too. This could be done with the legs just kind of bent, or anybody could go straighter in the legs. Yeah. Legs up the imaginary wall. There's another pose out there called shoulder stand. I very rarely teach it, but if I do teach it, it's with a million props. And I like this version because you get the same benefits, but it's a lot easier to set up and you only need few props.
And a lot safer.
Yeah, and there's the neck is in my opinion, a less compromised position than the real shoulder stand. All right, guys, to get out, let's bend the knees first, and then let one leg come down before the other. Doesn't matter which. Yeah, you'll untuck the shoulders. You'll lift the hips. You might have to go on the tippy toes and pull the blocks out. These blocks are stuck together. And then just come down for a second. Let's let the legs windshield wiper from side to side. Okay, and then let's pause here and put the right leg long on the floor. Bend the left knee and bring it in towards your chest and just give the leg a little squeeze. And from here, we'll take it into a twist, bringing the left leg over to the right side. You can add in, if you wanted to add in like a left arm, almost like a windmill, a quarter or half circle, that might feel good. A little stretch for the armpit. And then we'll return to center, changing out the legs. So the left one goes long, the right one comes in, and we take it over. And if you wanted to add in that half or quarter arm circle with the right side, feel free. So we did a little bit of hamstring stretching in the upright position. We'll do another one here laying down. So let's come back to center and swap out the legs again. This time, hold the hands behind the leg that's lifted and try to reach up through the heel. Yeah, and just do that a few times, a little bend and straighten of the knee. Try to keep the thigh more or less in the same place. And then we'll pause with the leg in your version of straight and just take some movement in the foot, ankle, nice and slow, but see how whatever the foot is doing, you'll feel something through the whole leg. Great. And then we'll relax the foot, relax the knee, and change sides. So your second leg here comes in. Keep the thigh where it is as you reach the leg up towards straight. Oh, this tighter side for me. And then, yeah, let's do the bend and straighten a couple of times here. You guys always get a running commentary of what's tight in my body.
I think we're tight.
Yeah, you are too. And then let's pause in the up position and move the ankle. Oh, anything at all. Oh my goodness. I need to do this more. Yes. Jill, is that your ankle cracking?
Yes,
over
I
here?
couldn't hear my knee.
I didn't hear the knee, but I hear the ankle now. Okay, let's bend the knee, come out of that. And then just take a big stretch. Reach the arms, reach the legs. Yeah, anything at all. The feet, the wrists, the toes, the fingers. All right, yogis. We're heading into Shavasana, our final resting pose. But if there's anything else that you need, that you might, if you need to put props under your head, a blanket under the head or under the legs, that's absolutely fine. As you settle in, let the work be done, the effort. Just let it go. Relax through the chest, belly, and your face. Imagine the whole back of the body just becoming a little broader, a little wider across. Bring your awareness back to your body. Start to create any kind of movement. Whatever makes sense for the moment. Eventually you can let the knees bend and roll yourself over. We'll meet on one side. And then from your side, take your time to come up to sit. Meet with hands at heart center. Think your own body, everything that it's able to do. Telepathically thank your yoga buddies at home and in the room with me for practicing with you. Namaste.